Hey there, Scrappers. Jeff here with a pre-intro to give y'all a heads up about this week's release and those of the next few weeks to follow. Due to illnesses, etc., I volunteered to run the next round of McFib, our bonus content, in order to save the voices of my fellow castmates. So, starting today and for the next handful of weeks, I'll be running the rest of the cast through a Pathfinder 2nd Edition one-shot. So we will return to Book 4 as soon as we can, but in the meantime, I hope you enjoy our playthrough of Red Mantis, written by John Compton. Captain Lundeen of the Absalom City Guard let out an exasperated sigh. You mean to tell me that another Petal District councilor's turned up dead? Nervous under the withering gaze, the guard stammered as he answered. Yes, Captain. It's the same cause of death as the previous victims. It was a violent murder, sir, with a serrated blade of some kind. We have eyewitness reports of someone fleeing the scene in red leather armor with some sort of bug mask. Lundeen shook his head and took a sip of coffee. Unbelievable, he thought to himself. Can't be a coincidence, he muttered. There's an election coming up, right, Hoskins? The guard, apparently named Hoskins, nodded vigorously. Yes, sir. The Petal District City Council election is in just 4 days. A sobering thought occurs to the captain and he gives the guard a firm look. Find out who is running in that election. Somebody's targeting these people and I don't want another death tonight. Whoever you find, try and convince them to come in under our protection until after the election. If it comes down to it, at least convince them to let us station some guards at their residence. Go, now. Dismissed. Hoskins offers a quick salute and dashes out of the captain's office. Sundown was just a couple hours away and Everbloom Manor was bustling with activity. The aroma of freshly baked bread and fresh food filled the kitchen and wafted out into the foyer, where Hoskins stood face to face with aspirational councilwoman Doatara Kalorbian. The noblewoman scoffed. Absolutely not. Ma'am? Hoskins replied, bewildered. Your life is in danger. Please reconsider. Ha! My life is always in a little danger, young man. Such is the burden of nobility. I won't be intimidated by any assassin. She took a sip of her tea and put a hand to her temple. Ugh, all this talk is giving me a headache. Hoskins steels himself and asks again, if you won't come under our protection directly, would you at least consent to letting us station guards around your residence? Doatara shook her head. No. Haven't I made myself clear on that? She gestures at the staff milling about. Do you have any idea how much money and effort that's gone into this dinner party tonight? Did you see the size of that harp out in the front garden? She holds her teacup out and a server appears immediately and takes it from her hand. I have my own guards for the event. Thank you for your offer, but I must decline. Please, be on your way. I can't have anyone just bumbling about. She winces, holding a hand to her temple again, but regains her composure. I must take a moment to convalesce. Good day, sir. The guard reluctantly leaves, heading out of the manor's front door as Doatara walks through the gallery and up a staircase to her room. Her hand never leaves her temple as she walks until she's safely inside her room. She shuts the door, looks in the mirror, and smiles. This is Pod Against the Machine. Hello, and welcome back to Jimmy Fame Presents Bonus Against the Machine, more pod for your bod, sponsored by Charlie the Lizard Folks Chicken Emporium, more cluck for your buck. Back behind the GM screen, it's me, hello, I'm Jeff, and with me, as per the usual, are the rest of the Pod Against the Machine cast. We're going to be playing this Pathfinder 2nd Edition one-shot adventure, Mark of the Mantis. And I'll encourage, please, the players to introduce both themselves and their pre-gen characters with whom they are very, very familiar. Why don't we start at the top left with my Skype window? Usually he plays a rat on the internet, but tonight he's not. Ladies and gentlemen, Zach.
Hey everyone, that's me, Zach, known Pathfinder 2nd Edition player, lover, and all-around rules savant of the system who is vamping to pull up his character's last name. Yeah, so I'm Zach. I normally play Brixby on the main pod, and tonight I will be playing Jakob Chris. And I don't know how much to tell you about him, but the doctor is in.
Excellent. Love the mystery. Clockwise next to Zach on my Skype. And it could be your Skype too at the Patreon tier. I'm just kidding. Izzy.
Patreon tier, B and Izzy.
Yeah, come on in. Join the Skype. You can be one of the other 14 me's. But for now, just the one me. I usually play Kira. Today I'm playing Italian. He's a very firm, strict man, doesn't speak a whole lot, but gets the job done. He's out here with these rookies just kicking it, I guess. And he's wearing a mask of looks like a bug. Or maybe he is a bug, who can say?
Who could say indeed?
I can, but I won't.
Ooh. Everyone's doing a really good job building up the suspense.
We say nothing about our characters.
Clockwise continuing. He has a voice. He's usually using most of them on the main pod. Sam.
Hi, I am indeed Sam, and I normally do have a voice, but right now I am racked by plague. So I will, instead of playing all of the assorted NPCs and villains of the world, be playing Zaya Anstablet, normal human police officer? Or, not that, but maybe that. Who can say?
I'm so here for this. Last and certainly not least, Jero.
Hello, Jero, and I will be playing Kangir, the dwarven mercenary who her amazing Scottish accent is going to lose us all of our UK viewers.
And listeners, I am sure.
Yeah, the viewers that are paying the Patreon tier and the listeners,
Yeah. No, we know you're all there watching. We're not exactly sure.
Those
how you
Highland
got there.
Izzies.
We're going to lose all of the Rats family, our Scottish listeners. Oh, so we heard something about a bug person, a mercenary. What's going on here, you ask? Happy to tell you. So the premise of this adventure, Mark of the Mantis, is that the Red Mantis assassin organization is pretty notorious throughout Galarian, and they are devotees of Achakek. That's just what I'm pronouncing it as, because I'm the GM now. Look at me.
Bless you.
I am the GM now. And often take on the visage of Mantis as sort of their mask, kind of all this red armor, very red ensemble, serrated weaponry. And they, despite being assassins, they don't just go out killing people willy-nilly. They don't like to leave a mess behind. They are tidy, efficient, targeted assassins. And there was this incident in Absalom, and there's some council members that are murdered. And the surviving council member goes and says, oh, it was these Red Mantis assassins. I saw one running away. And to which the leadership of the Red Mantis assassins said, slander, libel, no thank you. Let's go ahead and have that person killed for sullying our reputation. We're not just going to leave a big mess everywhere. That's not our style. And a party of 4 Red Mantis assassins, Atelion, Jakob, Zia, and a gnomish friend of theirs who has a name that starts with a T, and I was on the wrong page, Tescorbito, were sent to meet up and plan their infiltration to assassinate this Doatara Kelorbion. However, Atelion, Jakob, and Zia are waiting, and Tescorbito never shows up. They have a task. It's kill Diotara by midnight. And at the tavern where they find themselves, they are met by Kangir, the dwarf, who is a former employee, current employee of Diotara, and doesn't like that person. Says kind of, hey, I know what's up. Can I join in on this murder, please? Considering themselves short a person, the 3 assassins said, sure, why not? Let's all go do a murder. And the 4 of them, the 4 of you, party members, now find yourselves in this private dining room of a cafe and wine bar known as the Caliphas Dream, and they specialize in Ustalavic dumplings. So that's going to be delightful. The owner, named Derrig, he's paid well by the Red Mantis, an organization, to kind of keep things quiet and turn away, not give a mind to the fact that occasionally assassins might come in, have some dumplings, and plan a murder. And so you find yourselves sitting there together, the 4 of you, and 2 platters of dumplings slide onto the private dining room's low table. Derrig, the tight-lipped halfling, reports, chicken and leek, plus the 3 mushroom special. Still no sign of your gnome. And he kind of offers a shallow bow and withdraws, letting early afternoon light spill into the main room before he closes the door. Already, the mission has complications. Tescorbito, the gnome alchemist, fellow assassin, has not appeared to join the infiltration team as ordered. Instead, the resourceful mercenary, Kangir, arrived this morning having anticipated the Red Mantis' vendetta against Doatara and wants a piece of the action. You know, the enemy of my enemy and all that. By now, though, part of the day is already gone. The Verni, the ruling body of the Red Mantis assassins, they gave you orders to gather intelligence, plan the attack, and strike after nightfall, felling Doatara before midnight. There's enough light left in the day for each team member to perform 2 significant tasks. Now the only question is, where to begin? And so each of you will, in fact, get the opportunity to do 2 things prior to the heist, the mission, whatever you want to call it, the infiltration, if you will, of the Everbloom Manor, where Doatara lives. Throughout these activities, you might gain what are called edge points in this module, something that, by preparing for a specific thing or encounter or circumstance, might give you a benefit if you do in fact encounter it. And I can let you know what all of these preparation activities are. Things you can do to prepare. Prepare tools for assassination. So whatever specialty tool you might come up with, a particular type of crowbar to get in a specific sort of window, forging an invitation to the party that's happening tonight, things like that would require a crafting check and might grant you an edge if that situation occurs. From the information gathering standpoint, you can uncover Doatara's secrets, and either with a diplomacy, an intimidation, or a society check, if you have a relevant lore, I might be willing to let that go as well. You could do that to gather information that might help you learn more about your target. Similarly, you can try and uncover any information about the manor itself with the same sorts of gather information roles. You could try and plan ahead to have a timely distraction be coinciding with your infiltration, and that would be either deception, performance, religion, or society. And you can just kind of scope things out, try and get a lay of the land of the manor itself. And that is more your perception, stealth, survival, or warfare lore. And you could, lastly but not leastly, definitely a word, try and swipe some keys to the manor from somebody you might encounter around town. That would be a thievery check. And whether you find any keys at all, or, the key with a capital K, it's all up to the dice. Some of these can only be done a total of 2 times, but basically all of the other ones, you could each do them once or twice. There's no real limit otherwise. So, assassins and friend, what's your plan?
Well, I think we need to work out, as assassins, what our creed is, first of all.
Wearing big hoods.
Standing at the very top of things and then leaping into a wagon full of hay.
Mm-hmm.
I'm down for that.
I like birds.
Somehow blending into a crowd despite being dressed completely different than the rest of them and wielding knives.
Punching.
Yaka looks around at everybody around the group and says, "So, I have worked with some of you, and one of you is new friend. I could either put eyes on the location, or perhaps contribute to a distraction of sorts." Kind of cradling his silver holy symbol. Mechanically, pretty okay at perception with a 13. And I could then, after that, potentially run some sort of religious distraction. I don't know if that's like getting the vapors and like handling snakes or what exactly, but
Imagining those things that the priests swing full of incense and just...
Oh, like a censer. Yeah.
yeah, I just have a sensor. Yeah, absolutely. Well, honestly, that would be incredibly on brand for this character. It was kind of close to what I was thinking.
There we go. Go ahead and smack some folks in the face.
We can talk about why. But yeah, there's a little red mist situation around the silver holy symbol, maybe as he says that. And yeah, looks to everybody else. What is everybody else thinking?
Good. I too wanted to contribute to a distraction. As we all know, my distracting abilities are decent and should be put to use. I'd like to speak to some of the locals as well, see if they have any ideas on who exactly we're talking about here. It's very rare people are able to, let's say, resist my charms.
Of course, and how could they?
I have a plus 13 Intimidate. Yeah.
I've spent plenty of time around the city stealing. Most recently in the employ of, yeah, I know it's awful. It's the worst attempt at an accent. I don't know why I decided to try it, but I'm going to keep doing it. Most recently in the employ of Mr. Latara. And I think I can maybe, from the knowledge I have of her and my thieving abilities, maybe try and find us a way in or find us one of those keys. I do have a plus 12 to thievery and a plus 10 to stealth.
You, girl.
Hosea will say, I believe my talents would be best used scoping out the manor house before the party. I don't believe anyone will see me if I don't want to be seen.
Trained you well.
Mechanically speaking, I have a plus 14 to stealth.
How's that thievery?
Thievery is only a plus 12.
That is significantly better than my 3. I don't know how everyone else's thievery is.
I don't have a thievery?
Yeah.
I did not know that was a skill. I've never thieved anything in my life.
You might want to try to snatch those keys.
Yeah, there's not a limit on that particular one. So each of you can do up to 2 things. You could always hold one of those, wait till you've scoped out, and then from there decide whether Zia wants to swipe keys or come up with a tool to help her later. It sounds like, though, each of you knows at least 1, if not 2, things that you want to do. So, who wants to go first?
I think I've just forgotten my name. Hang on. Italian will stand without saying a word and just leave.
Nice.
That was rude.
Doesn't care. He's lawful evil. I'm looking for someone who has maybe had a little bit too much to drink. But not so much that they wouldn't be able to tell me true things if I scare them.
Sure. And you were wanting to learn more about Doatara, if I remember correctly.
Correct.
Yeah. So are you looking inside this kind of wine bar? Are you going out into the streets? Where's Italian going?
Out into the streets in a neighboring alley, if I could find somewhere just a little bit subtle.
Oh, sure. Yeah, that is easy enough. Right now, y'all are in Eastgate. I misspoke earlier. You're adjacent to the Petal District. So Eastgate is not quite as fancy. You're sure to find easily enough a gentleman who's just kind of idly shuffling some cards, kind of leaning up against a wall in the alley. He looks a little bit like he's listing to his side, maybe exactly the type of inebriated person you were hoping for. And if you want to go ahead and roll that intimidation check, you sure can. You could even do it right from your sheet.
Ooh, right from my sheet.
If you want to. You don't have to. Physical dice are always allowed in my games.
Let's try it. So I think Italian walks up to this man shuffling cards and says, "It's not safe. Nope, don't like that. Not a good card night. One more time. Not a good night for cards, friend. What can you tell me about Doatara?" And we'll roll intimidate. Just says it in the super scariest way. Skills? Intimidation. Roll. Ooh, that's a 3 on the die for a 16. Okay, that's embarrassing.
This guy just kind of shrugs at you. He's like, Doatara, female deer. I don't know. I think it's fine night for cards.
Okay. That failed.
Unfortunately, yeah, you don't get any information. The good news is you didn't critically fail, but he's not scared. Yeah, you get the impression that this particular individual is unlikely to be able to provide information, so your task that you were hoping to gain info about Tootara was not successful.
Okay. So I walk back into the bar and say, thought I left my car running. Sorry about that. And we'll sit back down.
Jakob, who got up out of deference when Atelian left, is going to look around and say, well, you cannot catch a fish without casting. And thinks about what his mentor said about finding somebody who's maybe in their cups, and puts on a performative sort of tipsy swagger and goes out to survey Tootara's property with a perception check. That's an 8 off the die for a 21.
Okay. You, Jakob, are successful in sort of avoiding notice and able to perceive some information about the manor. I don't know why I had to say that word so weird.
Manor.
It just manor, M-A-N-O-R and M-A-N-N-E-R. English is just the worst. However, in Jakob's inventory, you do in fact have a spyglass, which
I do.
is of benefit in this particular activity. It lets you observe even more. And because of that, you, in fact, get the benefits of a critical success without having to even roll the critical success. So I'm going to provide you with a map that you were able to sort of sketch out. I am going to pop this map up into the journal. So you get a good look at the grounds. The adventure somehow just gifts you with the ability to know where walls and doors are internally. That's how useful that spyglass is. Spyglass.
You even know the pattern of the rugs on the ground inside.
It's impressive.
Yeah, it's wild.
X-ray spyglass. I mean, never leave home without it.
Yeah, and
What is? Oh, that's the second story of that tower. That's like an exploded view. I get what that is now.
Well, no, I took the variant ancestry dolphin and echolocated all of this. It's fine. I just it's the sound of
Dolphin sounds.
echolocating.
with your critical success, you learned, as far as you could tell, when you were there, you saw 6 different guards on duty. You would guess that there's going to be between 10 and 12 probably during the event tonight. You think most will probably be patrolling the grounds, but that nice flat roof is likely to have some sort of guard presence as well. In addition, you learned that, speaking of the roof, there's a hatch towards the north that will let you get up on into the manor from the roof. Looks like you could even spot, with that incredible perception, a ladder stowed in the bushes east of the tower. And you could even see on the roof that there's 2 skylights that probably couldn't support a human's weight, but could be a method of entry. And what's weird is you also notice that despite the beautiful vegetation, all these flowering bushes, some of those should be in bloom, but all of the red flowers that you'd expect to see there have been pruned. And you could even spot in the garage that's not the right word, in the garbage, there's a bee there. Several red blankets and tapestries were just kind of all thrown away. So, kind of not necessarily sure what to do with that, but that's what you notice.
Are you like, I accuse the Red Mantis of something and am going to get rid of all of my red items because... I don't know. All right, so Jakob comes back, like correcting his drunkard stumble, and reports that to the group at the end of his turn.
Well done.
Thank you.
That's not so great. I'm not impressed. I mean, can we even act on any of that? I mean, like a total map of the place. You don't want to make it too easy.
So, Jakob looks back at Zia. It might not be actionable for someone of your skills, Zia, but I think Etelion and I will know what to do. Even the dwarf can figure it out, no?
They have a name.
Enough with the bickering. We have work to do.
All right, one moment, please. I'll blow this thing wide open. Let me go get some keys to the manor. And I think Zia will exit the bar and go off in search of one of those 6 guards that has been previously scoped out from non-actionable intel, in hopes of stealing a set of keys.
Yeah, and Akachek is with you all. One of those guards even comes in to pick up a to-go order of dumplings, and
Nice.
you might be able to bump into them on their way out with a thievery check. We'll see how well that goes.
It's going to be a natural 20.
Nice.
Willing it into the universe.
Oh.
You
You
got
got
Oh,
Oh no, you shouldn't have willed it. Oh no.
So everyone does start with a hero point. Totally up to you. You can let that critical fail ride, or you can re-roll the hero point.
this feels like pretty early to burn a hero point, but at the same time, yeah, I think I'm gonna try that one just one more time. So, yeah, 24 on the thievery check. The totally normal first try thievery check.
Yeah, it's as though you almost tripped up and actually fell into this person instead of doing the bump and swipe, but you managed to right yourself in the eyes of your onlooking compatriots, and you are successful in snagging a key. You don't know whether it'll open everything, but it's a key. It's a key to an Oldsmobile Laredo.
Yeah, in the garage that you were talking about earlier.
Yes, the garage.
I was hoping for a Cutlass Supreme, but we'll settle.
Yeah, can't be picky. Got that hero point already. Yeah, success. Oh, which then brings us to the Lady Dwarf herself.
Okay, so she's also hoping to get a key, but in her case, I'd like to ask, in her backstory it mentions that she had been unwittingly working for Dortara and discovered that that's who she was working for after a botched job. Or not a botched job, she completed a job, and when she went to go get payment, instead somebody showed up and tried to kill her. Instead, she beat that person and got out of them the information of who she was actually working for and what's going on. And I didn't know if possibly I could use the information that she knows both from her prior work and from torturing this hapless hitman to go up to another guard and use a deception check to maybe convince them that she's also here working security as her job as a mercenary, and possibly bum a key from them that she knows will open the doors they want to open.
Yeah, you could certainly give that a shot. I am on board with such a thing.
Okay. And would that be a deception? I can also do diplomacy, but since she's lying through her teeth, I'd say that's probably deception.
Yeah, it's going to be a deception against their kind of perception DC.
Okay. Yeah, they're the same roll. Hey, that is a 28.
Okay. Yeah, that was not a gimme. And you are successful in kind of convincing this guard. It's a different guard who also came in for dumplings, just because otherwise...
Yeah, I worried that if it was the correct key that the other one swiped, that, oh yeah, I'll give it... Wait a minute, where'd my key?
Hi. Yeah. Yeah, thankfully, word has gotten out about the Caliphast dream, and not so much that you couldn't do your discreet sort of hubbub, but people come for the dumplings. Really the people in the know. It's like going to, like, you could go to Chipotle. Sure, it's delicious, but if you want to go in for like the real stuff, you are successful in getting a key.
So she will, after that, she kind of like shares a joke with the guy, slaps him on the back, and walks back over to the table, and she goes, all right, don't know if the detective there's key will work, but this one, and she flourishes it, this will get us through any door in the house. I have no idea what this accent is turning into. I apologize to probably like 6 different cultures of people that I'm offending with this thing now.
Just keep going. It'll be Esperanto soon. That's all you'll be speaking.
But yeah, she shows that key.
Yeah.
Good job.
Thank you. So it seems like we have a good idea of the manor, the land, and the points of entry. Looks like we could still use a distraction, though.
I agree. What were you thinking?
Well, you know, I believe he who walks in blood will help us here. Accordingly, I will call upon Chekik for this distraction.
You have my blessing.
Thank you. I'm going to attempt to roll towards a distraction using my religion. Using my religion. Can I apply my stipend?
Yes, your Michael Stipe bonus. Your stipend, if you will. Oh no, I said too much.
Perhaps not enough, because I got a 28.
Ooh.
You just
Yeah.
summon a Chakik and he just starts rampaging through the town.
I summon a corner. A spotlight. All right, I'm going to stop there before we get sued. But yeah,
It's
that
all right.
is
It
my
was just a
religion
dream.
Yeah.
Just a dream.
But you weren't dreaming about the blessing of your deity, because you feel as though indeed you'll have some sort of edge, as though whilst outside the manor you indeed have one edge point. And being as that is the first edge point, I will let you know that what you can basically, you can spend an edge point if you were to critically fail a check that might be a complication or an obstacle, something outside the manor in this case, and that will turn that critical failure to a success.
Nice.
My friends, I am one step closer to the edge. And I am capable of a reroll if we fail critically. Yeah, no, that's a little Lincoln fake out there. So that's my turn.
And I would like to contribute to the distraction, because I think you said you could use a deception roll for that.
Deception, performance, religion, or society.
Excellent. So again, as has become custom, Atelian will stand and leave without saying anything. And go look for a precarious pile of barrels. Do you have any of those?
Are you looking to deceive a pile of barrels?
Deceive Donkey Kong specifically.
Trick them?
You make a good point. So instead, how about we deceive a group of wiry youths who look anxious? A group of anxious, wiry youths.
Yeah, you think, hey, maybe that anxious group of wiry youths over there playing hacky sack might be convincible to cause a ruckus or something this evening if you convince them to in a deceptive manner.
They could be
Cool.
heroes.
Just for one day.
Yeah, so Italian will wander over and observe the game for a few minutes, just sort of making approving sounds. Mm-hmm. Yes. Good kick. And other sounds that you make at hacky sack. And will eventually wait for a pause in the game and say, I have a task for you if you all are willing. There's 10 gold in it for you apiece.
That is so much money in PF2E.
I have no idea.
Infinity dollars.
Yeah.
We've definitely got their attention. If whether or not they believe you, though, might depend upon this deception roll.
Yeah, well, we'll have to see.
We could give you 2 years of your parents' salary for this.
And he will continue tonight before midnight. Wait for my signal. And when the time is right, go tell everyone that there's a fire far away.
Yep.
They have to go find it. And we're just gonna hopefully get a better roll than this time. Try to use a physical dice. Oh my god, that's a 5. You know what? Those who can't teach do. No, those who can't do teach is what I meant to say. I'm gonna cut my whole part from this episode. I'm gonna cut the whole thing.
No.
That's a 5 for an 18. Nope. Deception. That's a 5 for a 16.
Okay.
Are they convinced that I'm going to give them 10 gold apiece?
Get beat up by a bunch of kids.
You should have joined the circle.
It's going to be a lot harder to walk this one off when I come back inside the bar.
They just kind of... I mean, the 10 gold was such an outlandishly large amount to them that they just didn't quite buy it. It's for those of you who have seen the classic documentary Austin Powers, there's some being frozen situation where Dr. Evil comes out and it's been 30-40 years and he thinks he's asking for a lot of money when he says $1 million and they all just laugh. And then the opposite happens when he goes back in time and then asks for like $100 billion. And it's such an outrageously large amount to them that they also laugh. This kind of splits the difference where they're just like 10 gold apiece. Yeah, I'll believe it when I see it, dog. And they just hack and sack and kind of, they don't think...
In a mocking way.
In a mocking way, like, the way where they just kind of smirk over their shoulder as they just, those Chuck Taylors do their good work, knocking that all up in the air. I was in band.
Just bouncing those beans.
Yeah, that's how it goes. On a second unsuccessful venture, is going to pull out his sword and examine it closely and say, I forgot, I have to make my bed, and we'll leave and then go back into the tavern and say, think we're just about ready. Well done, everyone. We've all contributed equally here to the task at hand, and I'm proud of us. Hands in. I'm just gonna wait for hands in.
So what did you accomplish, boss?
What kind of question is that? Sounds as if you're doubting me,
I'm just
child.
wondering, looking for pointers, since you're like a legend, everything.
If there's time for wonder, there's time for work.
Exactly.
Zia.
I was going to give a similar proverb.
All right, I've had about enough out of you. I'm gonna stab you while you're sleeping. I didn't say that. What?
He who wonders does not a whole lot. That's your wisdom for the day.
Is there any reason there's a bunch of kids outside pointing at you and laughing through the window?
They're not pointing at me. What? That's... There's a funny sign behind me.
He's the kick me sign taped to his back.
So I think Zia will make an attempt to gather some information on this party that's supposed to be going down tonight. Maybe see if there's a way we can get ourselves in legitimately so that we can, have more free movement about the place. Can I roll a society check for that?
Yeah, sure.
All right, I'm going to roll a physical dice because Foundry hates me. And
Fair.
Natural 8 for a 21.
Okay, you actually succeed. And kind of what you're able to do, there isn't specifically an activity of gain legitimate entry to the party, but you do. Society did a thing. Yeah, I think what we could do there, because I like that idea, is we could turn that society into you're able to find out somebody who was invited and isn't going to attend, and so you know of a name that's on the guest list, but they're not there, so you could potentially have you or someone else in the party claim to be this person, who is, of course, Spiro Curry.
Really?
Wait, you almost got him.
All right. And Spiro Curry is, of course, very into wearing red all the time and usually bug masks as well.
Yeah, notoriously into such things. Which then leaves us with only one person who's yet to do a second activity, and that is the dwarven mercenary Kangir.
Okay, so we have one successful distraction, one unsuccessful distraction, 2 keys, and somebody who thinks they can gain entry in a more legitimate way. So other than steal another key or make another distraction, what other options do we still have for activities?
Yeah, so far you have yet to uncover anything about Doatara herself. You might know
A little
some
bit,
kind of
yeah.
hearsay. Then there's also if somebody wanted to prepare a particular tool with a crafting check based on the info you have.
Could I do either a crafting check or a thievery check to try, and I'm assuming that there may be something within my thieves tools to make copies of this key, like would I have blank keys I could cut so that we could all have a copy of this?
Yeah, I mean, that seems reasonable to me. You don't know for certain, what the key you have actually opens. But
In fact, would I be able to make copies of mine? Well, I don't know. I don't know realistically. Probably realistically, we'd have like one blank key in a Thieves toolkit. But I was gonna say, would I be able to make like 3 copies of each of ours, or is that like stretching what we might possibly have on us in terms of preparedness?
yeah, I think what we'll do is we'll say roll that crafting check, and I have an idea of how to move that forward based on your result.
And I'm going to roll in Foundry because it gave me a natural 19 last time. Well, that's not terrible. That's a 22.
What you realize is the key that you grabbed looked like it was maybe a well-used key that would work, but maybe it wouldn't have been the stealthiest key. Maybe you had a risk of it breaking, and you're able to craft a copy of that key with your toolkit that, on the one hand, it could be a secondary key, but it also might just give you an edge point for an obstacle such as gaining entry with that key.
Oh, I was going to say, I think also she would give the original, like, slightly more beat-up key to Atelian and just say, I guess I should call you boss. Here is, this is, I have no idea what this accent is, but here is the key I got off that guard. I made a copy for myself, but I figured you should have the original just in case we have to split up or anything.
Yes. Thank you, young lady. As the prophet says, he who has a key can go in lots of places as long as that key opens the door to those places, as we know.
Very specific.
Very succinct. It fits on a flower petal.
We're all stunned in silence at really the power and the pithiness of that saying.
Sorry. At this point, Jakob's probably pretty hungry, so we're housing those remaining dumplings. I have to imagine Ustalavic dumplings are like pierogi, veroneshki, like Eastern European, kind of like, right? So probably
Just so many onions.
yeah, so many onions, got that sour cream on there, right? So he's kind of shoveling those in and takes a look at the first key that was produced, or the first key that Kangir had, and then the one that they produced, and was like, "It is quite good, as they say. First blini always quite lumpy, but second one looks great."
And when you look at those keys, you notice, in fact, that you did both grab different keys. So,
Nice.
Cool.
so perhaps that was beneficial that more than one of you did such an activity. It remains to be seen.
Yes, the snake with many keys opens so many doors. Full of them.
Veritable fountain of wisdom.
It's amazing how you just keep coming out with these.
Oh, come on. Hey. I'm just doing my job.
So then you've got a good 3 hours before midnight at least. And you're at the Califast Dream, just right next door in the same neighborhood as this Everbloom Manor. You've each done your 2 activities. Are the 4 of you ready to begin your approach?
You said we had 3 hours?
Yep.
She who wasteth time wasteth away. So let's get going.
Oh no, that's the wrong map. It's like, no, I planned it. There were tokens, they had vision, probably. Turns out, after you're on the right, he who loads the wrong map reaps only bad things.
As they say, my friend, Ina stahu biavit pararushka. Even grandmother can make mistake. To err is human.
Yep, that's a good one.
Those aren't real words. You just copied that from somewhere.
No, straight up. That's what I've been doing the entire time. I mean, literally, in absolute, like, deference and the template of leadership as laid down by Italian, he has built himself. There's a reason. As Izzy started quoting things, I pulled up quotes. I was like, oh, of course. Like, he absolutely loves Italian. He's eager to prove that he's learned everything from them. So he's just going to echo what they're saying, but just a Russian version.
Nice.
Just Slavic intonation.
You didn't learn anything. It's crap.
Oh, so I placed your tokens just to give you some vision here towards the entrance to the manor. Before you can see there's the front garden. You hear the mellifluous sounds of a harp being played and the chatter of guests that you could probably spot fairly easily here in the sort of southwest portion of the manor. From your scoping out earlier, you also know that there is a gate towards the back garden. So a couple ways in that you could do. From then, you have so many possibilities. Are you going through for those roof skylights? Are you grabbing that ladder from the bushes? Are you walking up as the Spiro Curry and accompanying friends? I guess you have some time to think about that. Because I'm going to bed.
Hey, Jeff.
Good night, Jeff.
Night, Jeff.
Night, Jeff.
Pot Against the Machine uses trademarks and or copyrights owned by Paizo Incorporated used under Paizo's community use policy. We are expressly prohibited from charging you to use or access this content. Pot Against the Machine is not published, endorsed, or specifically approved by Paizo. For more information about Paizo Incorporated and Paizo products, visit paizo.com. The theme for our Mark of the Mantis one-shot is Thieves Guild by Tabletop Audio. Please see the show notes for additional music licensing. If you enjoyed this, we encourage you to please leave a review.
Wave
Recording the waveforms.
Formless and void.
Jacob.
You can't use those
Jacob.
waveforms.
Character voice. I have a character voice and a human voice.
Jacob.
Those are both lies.
Jacob.
3 mantises
I
in a
have a
trench
care.
coat.
Red Mantis waveforms.
And I'm just
Yes.
thinking about Zorak from Space Coast, Coast to Coast.
Perfect.
I like to think that he was taking a look, and then the hand that's by his right ear grabs the spyglass and just pulls it in front of his eye.
The floating
Oh,
foundry.
man. That's delightful.
For everyone that's not in our Foundry tier, somehow a mysterious mysterious hand was dragged and dropped on Jakob's ear. So now it is canonically there. It is a right hand on his right ear that is currently holding this spyglass.
Yeah, it's a real hoot. Boop. Like shared an image, and I'm like in my head, like I'm doing it. I'm GMing on Foundry. Because on Roll20, you do that for enough years, and it's you don't even think about it. And now it's like, hold on, how do I add a handout? But I did it. This is all staying in. The dog and everything. No, we'll probably cut a lot of this out.
Don't cut the Foundry parts out. That's how you get a sponsorship.
That's true. Boop. My track's just oops all boops.